Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 176 of NerdPod Generations. As always, I am one of your illustrious hosts, Steve Taylor, along with the always lovely Al Jetsam.
Hello, friends and enemies.
Very happy Bills-clad Al Jetsam after a solid win against a pretty good team.
Okay, caveat.
I said pretty good.
Caveat. We're going to get into it because one of my watch play reads is just going to be football,
yes,
as has been the tradition for the last few weeks. Can you tell I'm obsessive? I went a little divergence already before we even start. I went to Target because I needed to look for Spider-Man magic cards. Not that I don't already have a ton of Spider-Man magic cards. And I was thinking to myself, man, you really are obsessive. And I was like, you want to wait around and see if there's any more evidence to say that that's true? Because I think we got all the evidence we need. So going off that same idea, I didn't wear Bills gear all fucking week. I didn't wear it last week. I was like, we're on a bye. We're going to take some time. And hey, you know, I'll take it.
Sometimes the bye works.
Yeah.
All right, folks, so if this is your first time listening to us, that means there is 175 past episodes of pure bliss for you to go back and listen to. You can find us at nerdpodgen.com. On the homepage, there is a link to whatever the most recent episode is. Then there's also links to Spotify and Apple Podcasts where you can find our show. There's also links to YouTube where Al has been graciously uploading segments and full episodes of our show for you to go on and listen to. You cannot see us. You can just see our artwork, which is awesome.
It's much better than seeing us.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. We could spend the money and set up cameras and everything. There's nothing to see.
No,
I'm not going to lie.
And you know what? And there are actual pictures of us on the website.
Yeah.
You'll understand why when you see those pictures.
You're missing nothing. Unless you want to see my Pop Funko collection make cameo appearances.
It's pretty awesome.
That's the only thing I can legitimately think is like, well, that'd be interesting. Is like, oh, we're gonna set it up to be themed.
Yeah.
For each episode, and I'll take the time every week.
The theme would be people think you work at Funko because you have so many Funkos.
Yeah, no, it's a problem. I went to GameStop. They had a buy two, get one.
Oh, no.
And I found one for my buddy that he had been looking for, so I picked it up. And the cashier is trying to convince me, like, I don't know. You could get one more, and then you would just get a free one on top of it. And I'm just thinking, like, dude, I have a bag of 4 Funkos and a shelf of, I want to say, 10 Funkos, all still in box, all waiting in line patiently to be opened. I don't need more on layaway. I'm good.
Yeah. I bet it was hard to fight.
Oh my God. You don't even know, dude. I found like 3 that I wanted. I was like, I could do it, but I don't need to.
I love it. All right, folks, so we're going to kick this episode off. This is officially episode 2 of Halloween Havoc. It was going to be last week, but we went off the rails on our watch, play, read. This week, we're going to tamper it down a little bit. Al has a very good idea how we're going to work some of Halloween Havoc into watch, play, read so that when we get to the end, we're only reviewing one movie, and we'll definitely have time to do that.
We don't have a stack up.
No.
You want to talk about backlog and stuff on the shelf.
Backlog.
Yeah. I came up with this idea of like, let's cut our losses, right? We all know for over 10 years now, the way that it goes is Halloween ends and Christmas begins.
Yes.
Right? And then it begins in earnest after Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving. Idea. Let's try and mitigate some of this a little bit, okay? Let's say that all of November is the spooky season, Spookvember, if you will, where it's just Halloween is the beginning of it, and then you have the Day of the Dead. And then it's just like, that's where you put like your Nightmare Before Christmas. That's where you put your Gremlins, all these other things that are they horror? Are they Christmas? Is it a gimmick? And that way we can stretch it out. Everybody's thankful for spooky stuff. It's all about being thankful for the things you have in your life that are important to you, right? And so then it culminates with Thanksgiving. And we can be like, okay, now we're ready for Christmas.
Should I tell you that I contemplated putting up my Christmas lights today because it was warm enough that I want to get them up before it gets too cold?
Hey, listen.
That would have been antithetical to everything
I'm not the one that's going to get angry letters from the YMCA.
Yeah, they ain't going to say shit. All right, so we are going to start this episode with Watch, Play, Read. I have a very video game-centric one. I do want to start with a quick shout-out. Last night was movie night at my house, set up the big screen. The kids both wanted to watch. Now, it is my son's like 3rd or 4th time, my daughter's first time. Free Guy, the Ryan Reynolds video game. Now, I have to say, this is one of my like favorite modern movies. It is so good.
It's a really good movie.
So underrated on how funny it is, how heartwarming it is. It's, you know, my daughter loved the fact that it is you think it's a love story between Guy and Millie, but no, it's between Millie and Keys and Guy and Buddy. So it's a double love story, but one is friends and one is not.
Yeah.
And it's like, It's so great.
It's a great movie. I love comparing this to movies like The Adam Project, where they're like, we're just going to have Ryan Reynolds be Ryan Reynolds, and that's going to be the movie. And it's like, okay, but I love Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yes.
I love him like anybody else does him. It really counts what the script is.
Yes.
It really, really counts what the script is. Look at The Adam Project. Look at, was it Scrooge? No, it was, I can't remember even what the name of that stupid one with Will Ferrell, where it was a Christmas Carol.
Yes.
I don't even fucking remember what that was called. Yeah. It was so forgettable and yet bad and yet very bad.
Yeah. Red Notice, wasn't that the one?
No,
with
that
the
was
Rock?
a different one. That was the one with the Rock.
Yeah.
Having a good script to begin with is the key. Getting the right toys out for Ryan Reynolds, that's really important. And Free Guy,
it's so good.
It goes like, you can tell that when that merger went through, that was one of the few things that merger really helped. It hurt a lot of stuff, but you know what? It did give us Free Guy, which isn't nothing. That's something.
Yeah. And it gave my son to this day, as soon as Chris Evans says, what the shit?
Yeah.
When he pulls up the shield, my son loses it and laughs his ass off. And it is pretty awesome. And I'm like, you know what? I love that fucking movie. Oh, it's so good.
It's a great movie.
So just a quick shout out to that. I did want to touch on big news this week. They're putting out a remaster remake of the first Halo game.
Really?
And when the trailer ended, big splash, PS5 day one.
What?
That is the end of the console wars.
Oh my god, it's over.
I had always said as soon as Halo is on PlayStation.
It's over.
Yep.
That's it. When Bungie leaves, that's it. You're done.
Yep.
You're done. You have no... How did Xbox fuck this?
Well, what came out this week also... Microsoft has given the Xbox Game Studio an ultimatum saying you need to have a 30% profit. So that is why all the prices went up.
Yeah.
It's not Xbox, per se, the people who are running Xbox. It's Daddy Microsoft saying, nope, you're not making us enough money. Find a way to do it.
Because Microsoft is classically about to go out of business.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
It's so on the rocks that, like, how are they even keeping it up? It's almost like their past owner, can just lose $50 million and not know what happened to it. But sure, this needs to turn a profit.
I think this is definitely the first big step in Microsoft becoming just a publisher.
100%,
which is fine.
Yeah.
You know what? They're talking about all their new Microsoft games coming to the Switch 2 and to PlayStation. It's like, you know what? Just let Sony and Nintendo be the ones that make the consoles.
It's just shocking to me.
Yeah.
It's because, like, I've been here the whole time. I watched the whole arc of this, right? I was around when the Super Nintendo came out, and that was like, okay, you have the Sega and you have the Super Nintendo. And obviously, stuff had happened before that. But I missed Atari. I wasn't around for the ROM age.
Yeah.
Of, like,
Atari and ColecoVision.
Exactly. I came around when Super Nintendo was rising. And that was such a huge moment because all the games looked great, but it still felt like playing a Nintendo game. And then the PlayStation comes out and it's like, oh, this is so different than anything Nintendo produces. And then the N64 comes out and you're like, oh, this is Nintendo trying to respond. And then Microsoft is like, cannonball. And they just invade the marketplace.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, I don't know. This is... And then Halo comes out and you're like, okay, you have a foothold. That's a big deal. Halo basically created the Xbox 360.
Yep.
And now, after all this time, it's not even like they're a bad company or they're producing bad content. It's not... I don't know what the problem is.
The problem was the rollout of the Xbox One. Mm-hmm. That was such a catastrophic misstep on their part that they've truly never recovered from that.
This is like a price point issue?
Well, not only was it a price point issue, it was $100 more than the PS4. They had restrictions on sharing games. They said it was an always online console.
Oh, yes.
And then I believe his name was Don Matrix, who was running Xbox at the time, in an interview when they asked him, well, what if people don't have online? He goes, well, if you don't have online, we have another console you could buy called the Xbox 360. And that line decimated them. Killed them.
How can it not?
And the guy Phil Spencer, who runs Xbox now, he has even said that was the worst generation to lose because that is the generation where people built their digital libraries.
Yeah.
And PlayStation was so huge that people overloaded that it didn't matter what the Xbox Series X and S looked like. People had such a big library on the PlayStation. There were so many people that did. The PS5 obviously was going to take over.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're just screwed.
And then you go to that bit that you sent me that was Xbox as an individual coming into this guy's house.
Yep.
And being like, the guy's just like, how are you going to kick me in the balls? And Xbox is like, I'm not going to kick you in the balls. I don't kick people in the balls. Why are you acting like I kick you in the balls? And then it's just a litany of all the things that Xbox has fucked up.
Yep.
And it's just like, guys.
They truly fucked everything.
How did you do that?
I gotta say, the funny thing is, and PlayStation and Nintendo have both fucked up.
Yeah.
Nintendo fucked up harder with like the Wii U, but they were able to course correct.
Yeah.
PlayStation, their only fuck up was the PS3, which still ended up topping Microsoft in that generation.
It was still a hit.
It was still a hit. It was way too expensive out of the gate and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping Sony learns from this is there is talk of them doing a handheld. Mm-hmm. Don't fucking do it. Stick to the home console. You will be fine selling home consoles.
Yeah.
Leave the Switch handheld market to Nintendo, because where you and I both had serious concerns about the price of the Switch 2, now with like the Rogue Ally X, the Xbox version coming out at $1,000, and the Sony one, if they release one, it's going to be around that price range, that it's like, you're not going to be able to compare. Like somebody had said the Steam Deck, which is the biggest PC handheld right now, is still sold like less than the Wii U in its life. And it's like, dude, it is a niche market that Nintendo is crushing it right now.
Yeah.
Leave them with that. You do home consoles. Let Microsoft flood the market with games. Everyone's happy.
Nintendo literally invented the market as it currently is. Like
absolutely.
I know Tiger and all these other companies that had handheld games.
I bought so many of those and they suck so bad.
But like Nintendo, when the Game Boy came out, that was its own completely new animal.
Yep.
And I look at Xbox and I'm just like, it reminds me of the Halo series. The Halo TV series, where you're just like, guys, you didn't have to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You fully self-immolated on this. Nobody told you that you had to do this, this, and this. But because you did, it fucked you so bad, man. Yeah. And I don't really have any sympathy for you because you're a gigantic company. I have sympathy for the people that swore to Xbox, swore their fealty to Xbox. But, like, I'm not going to go to bed, having trouble sleeping.
They don't have to make another console. The properties they own now are so lucrative that they just need to make games.
Yeah.
They need to pump out games, and they will be washed in money. I mean, you have a new Elder Scrolls that's on the way from them. They still run Minecraft. That's a massive one. They own Call of Duty. I mean, they own all of these insanely massive properties. If they just stop making consoles and focus their attention on that shit, and just say, you know what our console is? A fucking PC. That's how they've always been aiming for anyways. It's like, dude, if you got a PC, you got an Xbox. That's that simple. And then home consoles, you're going to get all their games.
Yeah. To say nothing of the fact that the Xbox has always been like just the world's ugliest system.
It was until, I want to say, the end of last generation, when they put out the Xbox One S and One X. Those were fucking, especially the One X. That was a good-looking console. That was where they, like, if that would have been their launch console instead of the, I think they call it the VCR Xbox One.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
If the smaller, sleeker, better looking one was that, and they didn't have the Kinect and it was $100 less, I think it would have been a much different generation.
Well, like that, it's not even the first Xbox to be compared to a VCR.
Yeah,
the very first Xbox was a VCR. And there were VCRs at the time. So you could do a one-to-one, be like, well, which one's the VCR and which one's the Xbox?
I still say they had the most genius solution before wireless controllers. I don't know if you remember, the old cables on their controllers for the Xbox One had break.
Yeah.
So you could, like, if somebody tripped it, it would unplug it.
Yeah.
It was genius.
That was a big, smart
innovation. And they were
innovation.
long as fuck, too, the cables on those.
God. cable playing.
Oh.
What a time. What a
On
time
the
to have
NES,
to
I'll
live.
never forget that. You had to sit 2 feet from the TV because
you had to be close.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
So I want to do one last quick shout out to this week. There was the Kirby Air Rider Direct.
Yes, I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it.
There's a lot I took from that. It is going to be an insanely huge game.
The biggest thing that I took away from that is, and granted, I did not watch the whole direct, so maybe this is something that they reference or not. I know that it's from the same creator as A, Kirby, but also B,
Smash Brothers.
And it looks like they just took the Smash Brothers shell and put new stuff in it. But the menus all look like Smash Brothers.
Yeah, they do.
Like 100% just, and I'm just sitting here like, I love Kung Fu Joe and Meta Knight and all these. Can we please put Link in this? Would it kill you to put Link in this?
After watching the direct, I could kind of. It wouldn't be where like Mario Kart is like, Mario is known as being like the flagship, and so everything's under. This is Kirby, and it is just Kirby characters, so I can kind of understand it.
Yeah.
It's the amount of content in this fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I want to just shake and slap the people who made Mario Kart World, because I'm like, dude, this guy, he did 1,000 times the content.
Yeah.
And what I loved about the presentation is it not only showed all the courses, which look amazing, there's like 3 or 4 different modes.
Yeah.
Like a top-down mode, there's like an adventure mode, a world mode, like all these modes. The graphics look incredible. It runs super fucking fast and smooth. And the part that I love the most is at the end, he said, listen, we're not going to keep making these. This is it. This is the last game. There's no DLC. When you buy this game, you're getting it. And I'm like, something about that was kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm not going to be like down the line for a game that I think is incomplete. Somebody saying, oh, we're here $30 more.
Yeah.
You get a complete version of the game. It's like,
yeah.
I don't
Which
want that.
Nintendo has kind of done a few times.
They've been doing that a lot lately.
Where it's just like, oh, the game needed a little bit more oomph, and so we gave it a little bit more oomph in the DLC, which is fine. The reviews in the house are in on Pokemon Z to A, and they're very middling. They're extremely middling in like I don't want to say it's bad, but it's not good kind of way. And one of the things that we were talking about when we were going over everything was they have announced a DLC that's coming out. Have we reached the point where Pokemon looks at how their games perform and begin to put the end to like character arcs into DLC? Because it felt like there were a lot of elements to the characters and to the story that were just not resolved in any capacity.
Yeah.
And it was just like, so is that going to be in the DLC? Because it shouldn't be, but at the same time, is it just you're either not going to have these stories resolved in any capacity, or it's going to be in the DLC. Both are intolerable.
Yeah. And I heard a great analogy this week. Somebody compared Pokemon to Madden.
Yeah.
They're like, until you stop buying it, they're just going to put out this shit once a year, and you're going to fucking buy millions of copies.
Yeah.
And until you stop, they ain't going to fucking change.
Yeah, the review that we got was, mechanically it's fun to play.
That's what I've heard.
But the story pales in comparison to Arceus, and the limitation of the city is insane.
Yeah.
It is just to the point where you're like, so what's the point of all of this then? Why this? Why do it this way? Why knowingly limit yourself? The fact that some of the puzzles aren't puzzles. They're more cutscene than puzzles. And it's just like, and on top of everything else, the graphics fucking suck.
Yeah.
The most damning thing that I've seen was a TikTok Kelly sent me, which was a guy looking at his reflection in a window. Obviously, because they didn't actually build any of these buildings, you can't see through the window inside. You can't go inside. You can see yourself, and you can see all these buildings behind him, except that he's on top of a roof and there's no buildings behind him.
Yeah.
So they've just inputted a general background into all the reflections that is not actually what is in the area around you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how? And then you find out that one of the reasons we talked about that leak that came out last week, more information on that leak one of the things that the Pokemon Company has said is that the reason these budgets are so low is in part because they're suing Pal World for $50 million. And Pal World is just Pokemon, but with guns. And so you capture Pokemon like creatures. Some of them are more Pokemon-like than others.
Very much so.
There's a reason why there's a lawsuit in some ways. But that being said, the Pokemon Company way overreacted in that they want any capture and fight monster game to be copyrighted under the Pokemon guise. And it's like, no, you can't. This is like the people that tried to trademark reactions on YouTube. It's like, you can't. That's not a thing. You can't just say, oh, anybody who does this kind of video, they have to pay us first. No.
But it's also asinine for them to use that as the excuse why the budgets are so low.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you made $1 billion off the last fucking game that cost you $10 million to produce. Say with the advertising you're at $50 million.
Yeah.
You can't fucking you can't lie. And the frustrating thing about what you're saying with the city, if you go back and look at Grand Theft Auto Vice City on the PS2, that city has more character and content than this fucking thing does running on the Switch. Even if it's the OG Switch, which is still far better than the PS2. There's no excuse for it.
It's just a world of blanks.
Yeah.
Blank buildings and blank people and, like, the facade of Pokemon.
Yep.
But when I was talking to Steve, who was playing it, not you, Steve, but the other Steve, he said that he hadn't encountered any really giant Pokemon yet. He had encountered, like, Onix and Gyarados and Steelix.
Yeah.
And that's, like, nothing. That's nothing, man. You want me to... That's nothing. I can't go off of that, dude. And I get it, the promise of, like, I think it's promised to have 230 capturable Pokemon in it. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that a lot of these Pokemon games boost their numbers with legendary Pokemon that are extremely hard to find. And so you get like 10 to 15 of those. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced that this is going to be a good game or even a decent game. I think this is a bad game.
Yeah.
And I think people just need to stop buying it. If like the hardcores really want to keep buying it. But I think like anybody who's just looking for something to get their niece or nephew for Christmas, don't get them Pokemon.
No.
Get them something else. Because you're feeding the bad side of the juju.
Number one game right now in sales in the world is the Switch version of this game.
Yeah.
So it's going to sell 20 million easy.
It is the largest fandom of all. The enormity of Pokemon, the ubiquity of Pokemon, and how long it's been around. And you're just like, and this is what you're doing with it?
Yeah.
This is how you're doing stuff? I can't stand it, man. This sucks.
And I want to do one final shout out. I when I was watching the video, I had the chat on when I was watching the Kirby Deluxe. And I am tired of this bitching and moaning from people who are like, oh, the Switch 2 has no games. Okay. Let's say we ended in December, so that's 6 months that the Switch 2's been out. We got a new Mario Kart, not great, but people like it. A new Donkey Kong, a new Pokemon. We're getting a new Zelda, the Age of Calamity.
Yeah.
We're getting the Kirby Air Riders. We're getting Metroid Prime 4. We got Hades 2, which was a Switch 2 exclusive, which is awesome. You cannot tell me another system in this first 6 months of its launch.
No.
It's just, it doesn't have... The first Switch, everyone got so spoiled because you got Breath of the Wild, you got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and you got Mario Odyssey. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that was all in 2017.
That's a once in a fucking lifetime where you're going to get that kind of drop.
And where they're all going to be that good.
Yeah.
How many times has it been like, oh, even Nintendo, they would come back years later and be like, okay, here's what we're doing, guys. It's Pikmin and Splatoon year. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll see you next year then. I don't care about Pikmin or Splatoon. And nothing I see here is like, I gotta check out Pikmin and Splatoon. But also, like, you have all the third-party games that are also still available on Switch 2, which now finally has a processor that can run third-party games. Yeah. So, like, the new Hollow Knight is on Switch 2. Like, there's stuff that don't come to me like, oh, Sony came out with, like, God of War 8 and Assassin's Creed Ultra and Spider-Man No Way to Tomorrow and fucking they bought Halo. And, like, they didn't do all those things when the PS5 came out. Yeah. They won't do all those things when the PS6 comes out.
And I'm tired of the argument of, well, now the Switch 2's out, you got to stop making games for the Switch. The Switch has sold 150 plus million fucking. You cannot stop giving content to the people that bought 150 fucking million of them. You got to keep putting out content for them too.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of these games are Switch 2 exclusives, like the Mario Kart, the Donkey Kong,
the Zelda, the Metroid, the Pokemon, those are all going to be Switch 2.
Metroid, but it's not, I don't think the Metroid's a Switch 2
Oh, in terms
exclusive.
of like Switch 2, Switch 2?
Yeah. So, but if you're going just Switch 2, like I said, you got Mario, you got Donkey Kong, Kirby Air Riders, I believe is Switch 2 exclusive. And I think the Zelda game is going to be a Switch 2 exclusive,
I believe
because
so,
they couldn't get it to run.
That was one of the reasons that we wanted to get it.
So that's still 4 fucking bangers on the Switch 2 in 6 months.
Yeah.
Exclusives to that system. So
and
shut the fuck up.
Going back to what we talked about with Nintendo's current way of doing things, that's what the new Zelda game is.
Yeah.
All the things that they decided they didn't have quote-unquote time for in Tears of the Kingdom, they're all going to be in this.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was a huge complaint on my part. It still is. I will mock Nintendo relentlessly for this, because it is... I'm glad they're doing it. I'm also sitting here like so many other Marvel projects, it doesn't count unless it's in the movie. I don't want to hear about, if you look at it this way, or fan theories, or all these other things. I don't want secondary publishing. I don't want to be like, oh, well, if you look at this movie and then you look at its sequel, it makes it better. No. You had the shot. If you didn't get it in, you don't get to be like, well, but then 3 years later I came out with this and it makes it better, right? It's like, no. I will accept this, but it is not a substitute for what you presented me.
I got you.
And so I'll be very curious, just to say that while I love Nintendo, there are decisions that they make that leave me perplexed at best and dreading at worst. One of the things I loved about the Kirby Air Riders upfront was just that they had a different energy to everything.
Yes.
All the Nintendo upfronts have, you wouldn't even know that it's an entertainment company. I get it. I'm not going to go into why. Everybody knows why. But, it's so dour and focused and serious. And then you have, at the very beginning, the creator is at this, off angle where he's at, this 1/3 turn. You're like, okay, that's weird. And he does, the whole, oh, I didn't see you there.
Sakurai's awesome.
I
fucking love Sakurai.
The attitude, the lightness that he brings, it's so much more fun when he's introducing the top-down mode, and he's like, listen, I knew we were going to get hate if we didn't put this in, but, we didn't have time. And it's really tough when you're making game, and sacrifices have to be made. And then we decided, screw that. We're going to put it in anyway.
It's just so great. And it's I appreciate that man. For those of you who don't know, when he made Smash Ultimate, he said it almost killed him.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the amount of content in that game, it's fucking mind-bending that game ran as smoothly as it did on the Switch 1 with all the content. And he literally is a guy that, if I was Nintendo, I would say, listen, stop making games now. We're going to send you to second and third-party developers, and you tell them how they can make the games for the Switch 2 and make it run as well as you make your games.
Or have him be the head of the department that does that.
Yeah.
Instead of having, so he can teach other people that can then go out and teach people.
Exactly.
So he's still at home. He can still run things for Nintendo and not get pulled off into a million other directions, and just have his cohorts go out and teach people how to fucking make games for this system.
Yeah.
I am so curious to see what next year brings for Nintendo. I know that they have the Souls game, the Switch-specific Souls game that's coming out. They have
Fire Emblem coming out.
Yep. So I'm very curious, but I agree. The whole idea that there's nothing to play on Switch 2, I'm like...
See, next year is going to be interesting, because next year is the 40th anniversary of Zelda. Mm-hmm. That is
Do you think there's going to be any surprise announcements?
Dude, there's got to be.
Do you think I love the idea that the only place to go next is space. We've gotten to Fast and Furious levels of the only thing next to do is to send Link to space.
I'm going to say this, and this is my hope. Doesn't even have to be a new Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
For my birthday, which for those of you who are unaware, I know I sound young and spry, June 26th of next year, I turn 50 years old.
Yeah, you do.
I would love to have Wind Waker HD released on my birthday.
Yeah.
So I can buy that and fucking play it again because I played it on the Wii U. I fucking love it. I think it is a gorgeous game. It is so much better with the quality of life improvements.
That's the thing that shocks me, is that's the... If you want to talk about something that has somehow single-handedly kept Wii U's in people's households, it's that the HD remake was never brought to any other consoles.
I'm still shocked.
It blows your mind because the HD remake, when you talk about quality of life changes, when they said that they were bringing back Wind Waker on the Game Pass for the GameCube on Nintendo, I was like, oh, cool. But you notice that they didn't say the HD remake.
Yep.
It is the original, which has all of the problems that Wind Waker had. Which is to say, it's not problems, but it's a fucking huge pain in the ass to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Until you get warping, and even then, it's still like, oh, you can't warp to where you want to go. You can just kind of warp into a region that's vaguely near where you want to go. And a handful of places that you go regularly will have warp points.
And it's the old aspect ratio, and it's not the nice cleaned up version. Like, that version on Wii U was gorgeous.
Exactly. And they never did any... It was popular. It sold well. People speak highly of it, and they never did anything with it.
They have to put it out.
They have
that
to.
and Twilight Princess, because that was that was also the HD remake they did on the Wii U.
Another game that drastically needs quality of life changes.
And I believe, there's always been this rumor that they just have it sitting on a shelf waiting.
Yeah. Break in case of emergency.
They would sell tens of millions of copies of Wind Waker HD if they released that. I don't think it's much Twilight Princess, because that one, I personally love that game. It was the first game I got on the Wii, and I played that for fucking ever.
I love that game once it gets started.
Exactly.
It takes so...
Yes.
We were complaining about the 2-hour tutorial in Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-hour tutorial before you get to the point of like, okay, can I ride around the world now? Yeah. I finally did the first 2 dungeons, and now I'm done with the tutorial. Right? And I can just do stuff? Okay. But it's grueling.
Yeah, once you get through that,
grueling.
Though, it's
awesome. It's a great game.
Yeah, the dungeons are so good.
That water dungeon is so fun and challenging, and like the whole game has this weird, almost Tim Burton, like it's beautiful and haunting at the same time. Yep. Some of the people are not good to look at.
No.
But like at the same time, you can tell what they were trying to do, which was continue the joy of Wind Waker in the form of Ocarina.
Yep.
And they did a good job.
And I gotta say, even above Breath of the Wild, the Twilight Princess was probably my favorite Zora's Domain.
Yeah.
It was... I still remember, like, I have flashbacks of that. It was so beautiful and so well done.
I just love any space where you can do the I'm still falling.
Yes!
You jump off something and you're like, I'm falling. I'm still falling. Yeah. I'm still falling, and then you hit the water.
Which I gotta say this. There are 2 games that I have brought over to the Switch 2 from the Switch. One was Xenoblade Chronicles X. Runs like there's no load time, so like everything runs so smooth. The other one was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I have been playing ever since I got rid of Mario Kart World. Not only is it there's no load times on Mario Kart 8. Mm-hmm. The graphics look better. And there is a Donkey Kong Mountain where you go down a slope and you hit a jump, and it does feel like you're actually flying. It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
But that's all I got to say. I just had to kick that out. I know you had a video game to talk about.
So I want to go back to Ghosts of Yotei.
Yes.
Do a little review, little fallback review, because I've been playing it for a second full week. And this is a A+ game. My problems are, I fully admit, largely user error based. That said, not fully user error aced. I say largely, not fully. There are a handful of issues that I still have, but an update came through that helped with a lot of the collision problems. So now the game is a little less janky when it comes to jumping from one direction to another. That said, it did fully fuck me today.
Why?
So there was a boss that I did. I'm in the 3rd act of the game, which is funny because it's chapter 2.
Okay.
But it definitely feels like the third act of the game. As an overview, the game begins in one area, and then you learn about the 5 bosses that you have to beat in the whole region. It's 4 regions, and the home region. So I guess 5 regions all told. And you have to go around and beat all these bosses, right? Okay, cool. Chapter 1 constitutes going to 3 regions of the 5 and beating 2 of the 5 bosses.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, and that's chapter 1? You finish that and it's like, okay, chapter 2. And I'm like, chapter 2? I'm 45 hours into this game and we're only getting to chapter 2? How many chapters are in this? So that's a little silly, I'll admit. In the third act of the game, you fight a bunch of guys that have guns. That's what makes it challenging, is that now everybody has guns. Okay, cool. So there's a guy on an island and he has a bunch of musketeers around him and a bunch of eagles that will attack you. And so I'm just on the shore pelting him with arrows, and I get him between the eyes. Dies 2-3 shots. Great moment. Take a recording of it, feel awesome about it. And I make my way to his little island to loot him and his boys, and one of his eagles has glitched, so it's just sitting in the middle of nothing. It's just in the air. Nice. Sitting, and you're like, okay, yep, PS5, and yet we still have moments like this. It's okay. It's how you know it's humans making the thing. It's like pencil marks on animations. Yes. How you know that this is still being made by people. God damn it, boss fucking despawned. I didn't get to loot him because he despawned, because we think that I was supposed to go and actually meet him and fight him face to face. And because I killed him with arrows from so far away, the game was like, well, you don't get his loot then. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh,
I did all cheap. This and then he despawns? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, that's cheap.
So I was very upset about that for a while. Great shot. It was a very cool moment. There's a lot of really good body high moments in this game, but like the beauty of the game really takes over. The story really helps along all these other elements of it. So like the shortfalls of some of the side missions are smoothed over by the beauty of the storyline. It was funny because at one point you meet a guy who wants to help you with stuff that you're trying to accomplish. You have similar goals, and so you're trying to help each other out, and things just keep going badly for you two while you're doing this, and his men keep dying. And so he keeps on being like, you fucking suck, and I don't know if I want to hang out with you anymore, and I don't like you, and you're just a bad person. You're a bad person. But because I had done all the side missions, I didn't have anything to do in between these story missions. So I would just go boom, 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 boom through the story, which means that I would go back to the same guy and he'd be like, okay, I'll help you out again. And it's like, dude was just dressing me down like 5 minutes ago, and I'm clearly supposed to go off and do other things and explore the world and then come back, let him cool off, come back to the next mission. But because I don't have that, I'm just going into the next mission. So he is super forgiving about everything. He'll throw these big fits and then turn around and be like, okay, what's your next plan? Let's go invade a castle again. I can't say no to you. Oh my God. And so that was funny just from my own personal standpoint. That has nothing to do with the game. That just happened. In the same way that I did again, because of the way the chapters are laid out, you can kind of pick where you want to go. And so I beat the second boss before I beat the first boss. Oh. And so it was funny because you have a list that you wear around, and 2 names were crossed off the list, but not the second name. So it was the first name. Second name is still around. Third name is crossed off. Oh, I have to go back and kill the second guy. It was funny because the first mission, you get what is clearly supposed to be the super customizable samurai, casual wear, no armor. I'm just going to travel around the world wearing this casual samurai. Everybody's seeing that samurai look with the big pants and everything. But it has like 9 million customable patterns that you can wear for colors and styles. And so I'm just sitting here like, I feel like I should have gotten this earlier. And I was definitely supposed to, except I didn't do any of the missions that would have gotten it because I didn't realize that was a thing. I'd gone off and done something completely different and then rounded back to the other thing and been like, oh, I was clearly supposed to be here way earlier. Okay, cool. No worries. I just did the snow level without all the fire you were supposed to give me to help me with the snow levels. So it's a really good game. There's some really touching side missions. The characterization is really great. There's a Ninja Turtles reference, which will always get me. The internet doesn't do justice to some of these things. In the game, they're really beautiful in terms of the writing and in terms of the pacing and style. So it's a really great game. me and it still, I still joke with Kelly. I joke. It's not really a joke. It's one of those like, I'm joking, but I'm crying inside kind of jokes. The game definitely likes her more than it likes me. and so I'll be doing something and I'll be getting frustrated and Kelly will just be like, I'll hand the controller to her and she'll do it in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's just like the game clearly likes her more than me. So great game. Highly recommend it.
Nice.
Do watch out because there are some moments where you get a little too eye of the tiger and do things the game doesn't want you to do. And let me be clear, the game is very specific about telling you how it wants you to do things. And I am very much in the, I don't fucking care. I'm going to do this the way I want to do this. So if you use 2 swords, everybody makes fun of you for using 2 swords. And it's like, I don't fucking care. I'm going to use 2 swords because it's A, badass, and B, super useful against you idiots. And killing a guy with a giant bow and arrow from 500 yards away when he's supposed to have a whole conversation with you face to face. Yeah, the game didn't care for that one. It was kind of angry about that. So I did want to really quickly talk about the NFL.
Okay.
So the Bills did win today. And
finally handed it off to the best running back in the
that
league
was the
multiple
thing.
times.
That was the thing, was that we just ran the ball.
Yeah.
That was all we did.
James Cook. Oh.
The only thing that we changed was we got rid of the penalties and we ran the ball with James Cook. It wasn't just that we were running the ball, because there were a lot of weeks there where it's like, okay, we're going to run the ball with Ty Johnson. It's like,
Yes.
I love Ty. He's not James Cook. There's a reason why those 2 contracts are extremely different. So James Cook had 200 and change. He averaged 11.4, 2 touchdowns. He wanted to get a third one at the end of the game because they were lined up they were on the goal line. And it was funny.
But they were up 40-3 at that point, right?
They were up.
Or is that the one that Josh ran in?
That was the one Josh ran in.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So we were up 33-3.
Yeah.
And then you could see Cook on the sidelines being like, put me in. I'll get a third. Come on, give it to me. And they're like, no, we're going to give it to Josh. Meanwhile, everybody in the broadcasting booth is like, it's National Tight Ends Day. Whatever that means. You should throw it to the tight ends. And like they're zooming in on all the tight ends being like, it's definitely it's not going to them. We're in snowplow mode. We are not giving it to them. The only reason I have any pause about this win is because in the same way that I complain about how Bostonians are thumping their chests and talking about how great they are, which we'll get to. I say to them, who have you beaten? What great team have you actually beaten? Because we beat ourselves in that game. The Bills beat themselves more than the Patriots beat us. The Patriots just capitalized on those events. And in the same vein, that's exactly what happened today. Andy Dalton had maybe one of the worst games I've ever seen a quarterback have. It was almost tragic. It was 7 sacks.
Why was Bryce Young out? Was he hurt?
He was out. He's hurt.
Oh, I didn't know
he has a bum ankle.
Ooh.
And so he was out. Dalton was in all game. And listen, Buffalo has a special spot in its heart for Andy Dalton because he got us into the playoffs, and that was great. And we deeply appreciate that for the first time in 17 years back in 2017. Like we all remember, we all appreciate. This dude had one of the worst games I've ever seen a quarterback have, and I watched Carson Wentz play last week. It was bad. It was really bad. He had, I think, 3-4 turnovers, got sacked 7 times. It was just atrocious. He could not do anything right. And he just kept on going to the sidelines and looking at his tablet. And I'm like, dude, the answer is not in the tablet. The answer is on the couch because you're done. You're done. You can't do this anymore. You might have a game like Joe Flacco every once in a while, but even Joe Flacco has a game like today where, it just doesn't work out in his favor.
He still had 3 touchdowns.
He did. Well, he has
2 passing, 1 rushing.
He has Chase and Higgins. All he has to do is just bomb it up there and someone will go get it. But I just look at Dalton, I look at that score line, I'm like, I think that's going to help our defense get their confidence back, and that's great. Ed Oliver is week to week with a bicep injury. That's not great. And once again, the good things. Hairston hit the field, and he looked good. Great. We need that so desperately. We did not have a myriad of injuries, which we've had only outside of games. We've had a few injuries in games, but the vast majority of the injuries have come outside of games. And so that's why Hamlin is out right now, is because he's actually on the IR because he hurt himself in practice. And it's just like, okay, fucking great. As part of that, we have Poyer and Trey White just committing the dumbest penalties you've ever seen. It's like, this is why you guys had to leave.
Yep.
You know, and then we brought you back and we were like, oh, we'll just let the good times roll. And then you pull this shit. And I'm like, you should probably leave the party. I don't think you should be here anymore. You're kind of pissing me off. I am so glad that we won this game big. I needed a blowout win. I needed a giant blowout win to make me feel better about things. But I would be lying if I said I still don't look at McDermott and think, oh, this is what you do for us.
See, I think what was big about this blowout win, though, is I think you needed this as a springboard into next week.
We desperately needed it. There was a moment where I was like, it feels like, in the same way, you know, again, I'm going to put on my tinfoil dunce cap. In the same way that I've been complaining about the refs kind of giving out penalties or lacking penalties for the Chiefs, I feel like this was one of those days where the refs were kind of told, like, swallow your whistle a few times, okay? Like, we need the Bills to look good against the Chiefs. We need everybody to think that this is going to be a game and not a rout. And if the Bills look like shit against the Panthers, then nobody's going to watch the Bills and the Chiefs play next week. So refs, don't call all the penalties on the Bills that you've been calling. We need them to look good.
Yeah.
So again, tinfoil dunce cap. I don't care. I just want this to. I just need this to happen. I was talking to a couple in the park today when I was walking the boys, and one of them was talking about like, oh, we've come so far and we've tried so hard, we've done so much. They were like, do you think this is going to be our year? And I was like, I need this to be our year. Yeah. I simply can't take it anymore. The fact that we had the chance to close all of our business last year and we just didn't do it.
Yep.
It makes me sick. And so we made it infinitely harder for ourselves. The defense has suddenly aged 10 years in one off season. It has none of the capability it's had for the last 5 years. And the offense is James Cook and Josh Allen. And if either of them go away, we have no offense.
But and this week, when I was watching the score, because I'll admit, I didn't actually watch this game. I was watching the Bears-Ravens, which...
We're going to get to that too, yeah.
No, I don't even want to talk about that. To me, only solidifies when I said a couple weeks ago and kind of got poo-pooed that I think James Cook is the MVP of the Bills. It's like, this shows why they need him.
Oh, yeah.
Because when he can, not even 200 yards, say he did 100 yards and a touchdown, that extra little bit to take that pressure off of Josh, because when Josh is pressured is when he fucks up.
Yeah.
And they need to take the pressure off him. And James Cook is the perfect running back to take the pressure off Josh Allen, because he is that running back that can get 5 to 6 yards on a carry when you need him to.
He was ripping 8 to 10
it was
on
crazy.
a fairly regular basis.
His play-by-play was ridiculous.
And
he had like 1 or 2 plays that he lost a yard.
Yeah, very
All
little.
the rest were positives.
And it just like, it really shows that we need that. The biggest thing, and then we'll move on to other teams, the biggest thing that I find frustrating is that we're in the exact same position before the trade deadline that we were last year.
Yep.
We need a cornerback and a wide receiver. And God damn it. I look at Coleman. I look at Xavier Worthy. I look at Brian Thomas. I look at all these guys that we could have had. And I'm just left being like, so we really couldn't have put this thing together? This was the best solution, was trading down multiple times? How are we still begging for a corner and a fucking receiver?
After watching the Bears game today, if I was the Buffalo Bills, I would contact the Bears and say, what do we need to do to get DJ Moore?
DJ Moore. I had the same thought.
Because they have underused him so bad this year. And then he had one of the greatest catches of the year at the end of this game.
The only thing was that he needed to step out of bounds.
He needed to step out of bounds. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
I think he was shocked he actually caught a fucking pass, because I think they threw it to him only a couple times, and they handed him the ball off as a running back a few times. It's like, dude, he's your number one. I know Romaduzzi's doing great. DJ Moore is your number one receiving, like, veteran receiver.
Yeah.
And they are underutilizing him, and I know A.J. Brown has been talked. I think they would want too much for A.J. Brown.
Not only do I think they'd want too much for A.J. Brown, we would be just as good bringing back Steph Diggs. It's the,
absolutely.
You need to feed me every time, and if I don't catch it, fuck it. I'll get it next time. And so you just got to keep feeding me. And I hate that in receiving. I hate that. It doesn't fucking work. It makes us one-dimensional, and it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
So I would definitely go in for DJ Moore.
Dude, contact the Bears, DJ Moore.
And you know what the funny thing is that we already know that the Bills are going to trade back into the second the second round of the draft anyway. They're not going to draft someone in the first round. So trade your second rounder to the Bears for DJ Moore. You're going to trade back into the second round anyway. So who fucking cares?
He would do wonders.
Oh my God. He would at least put a threat on the table.
Yes.
So it's like, because Shakir had a great 50-plus yard run. Yak Shakir is just, he's yakking away. And that's great. And that's what you want. He is not a number one.
No.
Keon Coleman is not a number one. Fucking, what's his name, who pretends to be a dog peeing on things. He's not a number one. None of these guys are number ones. Yep. And you don't use the tight ends as number ones. So we need a number one.
You need a number one. And you need it in fucking draft.
Yeah.
I mean, not in the draft. In free agency. They have to get a wide receiver.
We need something.
Yes.
We need something. And we suck at drafting in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Sometimes we get some really good stuff. But by and large, we are not great at drafting, at least recently. I think like 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Those were good drafts. Since the pandemic, since fucking Kaiir Elam, we've had nothing but shit drafts. It's been awful, awful drafts. Bernard's good. I like Terrell Bernard. He's great.
He's all right.
But he's injured like everybody else. The end of that Bears game was, I could not believe what I was watching.
That is the Chicago Bears in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You know, they have these, and I messaged this to my friend. Caleb Williams is just not good.
Yeah.
He's just not. He can't process things. Some of the intentional groundings he got and his turnover, it's like he doesn't know what he's looking at.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm saddened because I never wanted to draft him. I still believe that if they had kept Justin Fields, he would be in a much different situation. I mean, you can't give... You can't say anything negative about Fields being on the Jets this year. It's the fucking Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets are just shit. Last year, he had a winning record on the Steelers, who were a defense-first team. And he had a winning record and played really fucking good. The Bears, he never got a shot.
Yeah.
And him and DJ Moore, their relationship was fucking tight. DJ Moore loved him. He fought for him. And I look at Caleb now, and I'm like, dude, he's got all of this hype on him. But when you look at it, he doesn't know how to read defense. He doesn't know how to read situational football. He misses throws. His interception, he threw it behind a Duze and too late.
Yeah. And
that's why the fucking guy easily intercepted him.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it like, this is the Bears though.
Yeah.
You know, they'll have that, like the announcers had said this. Last year they were 4-2, and then they lost their 7th game, which they did today, and went on a 10-game losing streak.
Yeah.
And they showed their upcoming schedule. They very likely could go on a 10-game losing streak.
Yeah. Well, like the thing that I look at, I'm just like, do you bring in a mid-range, long in the tooth, journeyman game manager and just give Caleb time to just fucking learn to play football at this level? Because he didn't have that last year. Nobody taught him to play football at this level. Part of me,
you know, these guys that come out of college with the expectation that you at least know enough to play quarterback. And yes, he didn't have people teaching him, but when you're a professional making millions of dollars, you shouldn't really need to be taught how to play your position. You know, you can be taught how to play it better.
Yeah.
But like as far as reading a defense, you should be able to fucking do that when you come out of college and you're the number one pick.
Yeah.
So that I don't have any.
Well, like the thing is, I'm racking my brain about who that would be, and I'm like, do you bring in Gardner Minshew? That's not going to help.
No, you don't.
Like
you can't
I don't even know who you would bring in to help with that, because the guys you would have brought in, like your Alex Smiths or even your Teddy Bridgewaters, they are either retired or ineffective.
Yeah.
And so it's just like Tyrod, but Tyrod's already in New York. So I don't know. I don't know if there is anybody that you can bring in while this kid learns how to play the position at this level, because I truly think it's partially because of Flus. Eberflus really royally fucked you guys.
Well, it all started with Nagy.
Yeah.
When they should have fired Nagy and the GM before they drafted Fields.
Yeah.
But then Fields had that year under them. And then who does he get? Fucking Eberflus, who was horrible.
Yeah.
And, you know, at least Williams went from a shitty half a year with Eberflus to an actual offensive-minded
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
But the problem with Ben Johnson is he's one of these new, I got to have the most difficult offensive structure known to man
Yeah.
because I'm a genius. And it's like, no, dude.
I'm so far ahead of everybody else, I'm going to do the stumble play where people pretend like they're falling over, and that's going to be the thing. And it's like,
so dumb.
That works one time, dude. Nobody's going to buy it the second time. You know, this is the Marino fake spike punt. You know, I don't know, man. It's not going to work.
But
again.
like when you talked about the DJ Moore not stepping out of bounds, 2 plays before that, Caleb Williams had like an 18-yard scramble.
Yeah.
He didn't step out of bounds. And so they had to call one of their 2 timeouts they had left.
That whole 2-minute drive
was terrible.
Was atrocious.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst 2-minute drives I've ever seen.
Yep.
The only thing that came close was the Giants' quote-unquote 2-minute drive. Granted, here's the thing. The Giants were down more than the Bears were competitively. The Giants were down 20. The Bears were down, I want to say, 16. So it's like, it's only 4 points, but those 4 points are like so big. The Giants just turtled. They just didn't even play the last 2 minutes. They had 3 timeouts. They could have done something. But they were just like, we're down 20. We're not going to even try. Which I can't blame them for, because we can't have anything nice, because Cam Scatterbo went down, not with a head injury, but with
a bad ankle
bad ankle injury that needed to be air casted on the field.
Yeah.
So he's probably done for the season.
He's done for the season. Neighbors is done for the season. So you're like, dude.
What are we doing? I guess there's nothing to look.
Jackson Dart's great, but they have nobody.
Yeah, now there's nothing to watch the Giants for.
Yeah.
And you're just left being like, well, that was a cool 2 weeks that we had
it
fun.
was a great 2 weeks.
We can't have anything nice, can we? We just got to move on to terribleness all the time.
And especially the game started with an 18-yard touchdown pass to Scatterbo. It was awesome.
I know.
Like,
they were
this is gonna be great.
They were the thing to watch.
Yep.
And then the NFL guys were like, nah, that's not going to be a thing.
Dude, it's just, I just want to take a quick look at the current scores real quick. All right, so it looks like, Denver is destroying Dallas, 37-17 right now.
The Bucks are killing the
Bucks
Saints.
are killing the Saints. Colts are killing the Titans. Wow, these are 3.
All 3 games that are on right now are full-ass blowouts.
Which, I got to say to my Bucks, my lovey Bucks,
last
week they got torched by Detroit, but the big reason was, Mike Evans separated his shoulder. Oh, that was the worst.
It was bad. We went from maybe to he's definitely not getting 1,000.
So you look at that team, and they lost to Detroit last week, and I'm happy they're getting a meatball right now with New Orleans. But they have one guy. They have a rookie wide receiver. That's their only fucking weapon right now.
That's
is a rookie wide receiver.
That's all
and
they got.
And they still are finding a goddamn way to win now, and it's like...
It's Baker Mayfield for you. Dude won't quit.
No, he won't.
A few other notes. Falcons, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do with this? You make me feel like shit.
This was the Andy Dalton game for them because they started Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And he played like dog shit.
So thank you for ruining that. Bengals, way to blow it. The Jets have finally gotten their win for the year. But thank you, Bengals, for fucking blowing it again with your defense, your terrible defense. The Niners blew it against the Texans.
Niners got trashed.
I don't even know what I haven't watched the highlights of that game. I don't know what happened, but like, dude, you got to beat the Texans. You can't do that. And then the fucking Browns, man. You had a chance. It was like 7-9 at halftime.
Yep.
It wasn't like some blowout thing. They end up losing 32-13. What the fuck, guys?
This is what's happened the last couple weeks with the Patriots. If you remember, the only thing... And I had given this credit originally to Bill Belichick. Back in the day, during the Brady days, they were the best team at making halftime adjustments. I think the offensive adjustments might have been McDaniel, because the last couple weeks they've had rough first halves, but then the second half they come out and they literally torch whoever they're fucking playing.
It pisses me right off. Well, so here's the thing. The Patriots being good pisses me off, but what really pisses me off is Bostonians thumping their chests and talking about how great they are. You can't spend 5 minutes being humble, 5 fucking minutes being humble, and just being like, oh, we are still putting ourselves together, and we're going to see if this season goes well, and we hope that we win the division, but who knows? Maybe something will happen. Let's just try and do our best. That's what everybody else in the fucking division does when they win 5 games in a row. Hey, this is great. I'm so happy. Let's try not to blow this because otherwise we're back in the shitter. But no, Bostonians are over here talking about how they're the greatest thing, and they're the power team, and they're the varsity, and Drake May is the greatest player of his generation, and he puts everybody else to shame.
You and I don't have this track record that they do, that our teams had a 20-year span of dominance.
Yeah, all the more reason to not act like a fucking billionaire and rent Venice, okay? Here's my thing. Be cool. You could be cool. You're choosing actively to not be cool.
Ethan. Yeah, you're talking about Boston.
I love that you called me by your son's name.
You're talking about Bostonians.
I know, but that's the thing, is that they're fucking assholes, and I'm fucking sick of this shit, and you just need to shut up. You just need to, I feel like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Punch Drunk Love. You just need, shut up, just shut the fuck up, shut up.
All right.
Anyway, so we're moving on.
Moving on.
On that note, we're moving on. I want to talk about Crimson Peak, because we've been meaning to talk about it for a while.
Yes.
And so to do so, we're just going to put it into the Watch, Play, Read.
So this is Halloween Havoc, Watch, Play, Read.
Yes. Half and half.
Yes.
So this is an interesting movie because the more people I talk to about it, the more I find that it's similar to the Rohirrim in that we in this house really, really like it. But a lot of people, like War of the Rohirrim, kind of are on the fence about it, don't love it, find that it's super tropey, don't really like kind of the direction that the story goes in. I had a buddy who was looking for a good ghost movie. He loves Mike Flanagan. When I talked to him about House of Usher, he was just as excited about it as we were, and he watched it 2 years ago when it came out. And he was like, we didn't even make it to Crimson Peak. We didn't even make it to the house because we were just like, nah, we're not doing this.
Well, and I got to say, this movie, I love everyone in it and who made it. So I'm shocked that it took me this long to watch it because it came out in 2016.
Yeah, a while ago.
2015.
Yeah.
So it's been 10 years and I just watched it a couple weeks ago.
And you can tell this was filmed probably in 2012, 2013, spent a few years in the can, and then was brought out after Del Toro had a hit.
And I'll be honest, that's one of my only, like, aesthetic gripes is the thing I liked about Tom Hiddleston when he did Kong Skull Island is they changed his hair up a little bit so he didn't look like Loki. He looked like full-on Loki in this movie. Like, appearance-wise.
Yeah.
He had that, like, super dark black hair and appearance, and it's right in the heart of the Loki. It's, like, right after Thor to the Dark World and before Ragnarok. So it's heart of Loki. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, at least, like, they, like, in, I think, Kong, they, like, lightened his hair, made it,
It was
like
more
a
blonde.
blonde-brown type thing.
Yeah, he had, like, a honey blonde.
I kind of wish they would have done that because it really did look like fucking Loki.
Yeah. See, like, I really like this movie because of the tension that everything brings. I do like that it is one of those movies where it's like, okay, so Alice in Wonderland is going to hang out with the guy from Pacific Rim, and he really likes her, but he doesn't know how to tell her that, and she is just kind of like, if he comes around, but he's got to make the first move, and then she meets Loki, and Loki is, like, crazy, and she's crazy for him, even though she despises him. And then now I have to think of a Jessica Chastain role, the woman from The Help.
The good white woman in The Help.
She's not a good white woman here.
No, but in The Help, she's the only good white woman in that movie. Let's preface that.
Yes. No, so, but I do like that element of the movie because that is just a thing that I like. Is just, I have an entire, in my digital library, I have an entire folder that's just movies that have people that you recognize in a very different role than the role you recognize them from. It's called The Guy That's in That Thing. But I like that so many of these people have such familiar faces, but are portraying very different kind of characters than they usually do. Although I will say Tom Hiddleston is doing kind of like a light Loki, where there is definitely like, he's definitely hiding something. There's definitely something afoot with his whole thing, which is part of the characterization. It's part of what's going on with the plot. But I really like Charlie Hunnam in this movie, and I really like
he was in it. I didn't know he was in it. When I saw him, it kind of caught me off guard.
I love Mia Wasikowski, or however, Mike Wazowski, Mia Wasikowski. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but I love her. She's so good in this movie. And it has a lot of, yes, it is super trope heavy. You know, it's one of those things where, like, all the ghosts are trying to help her, but they scare her because that's the only way ghosts can appear is by being frightening. And so they all scare her, but they're all trying to help her. And ultimately all of that convalesces at the end of the movie. You have the weird relationship between the siblings. Ooh, what's going on with these two? Oh, what's up with this? But like, and you have the whole Charlie Hunnam thing of like, he's a doctor, he's a good guy, but he's just not sure how to say that he likes this girl. And then he loses his chance and now he has to run off and save her. You know, yeah, tropey. Sure. Absolutely. There's a dog that comes in. You're like, oh, I fear for this dog. And you should.
Yes.
That said, the Del Toro of it all is what does it for me. In a lesser... Like, if you gave this movie to Robert Rodriguez, it'd be a fucking mess. You have the exact same cast, the exact same script, and it would just be a fucking mess because he doesn't know how to do all of this. The whole look of the movie is so good to me.
Yes.
And one... I'm a sucker for anything that takes place nearby. This starts in Buffalo, which is awesome. The fact that the beginning of this movie takes place in Buffalo, you're like, Buffalo. All right, cool. I love it. Once you actually get to the peak of Crimson Peak, that house is so incredible.
Yeah.
It's such an incredible house. And it's so full of, again, very tropey things of like, oh, don't take the elevator any lower than this floor. Don't worry about that. That's just the house settling. It's not the house settling. Don't worry about the goo coming out of the floors. That's just from the clay. Technically true, but like we've seen this in other things too, where the mysterious goo coming out of sources, and you're just like, what's up with that? Well, here it's just clay. It's just, you know, whatever. I really like the premise that it's a con. I don't want to necessarily spoiler warning moving forward. I like this movie a lot, so we're going to get into spoilers. I like the con element of this, because that mystery, as it starts to unravel, where Tom Hiddleston shows up and he's talking to her dad, and he's like, oh, we're like just trying to raise funds, and we're doing this. And then the dad is like, oh, and you also were trying to raise funds in London and in Edinburgh and Milan. Also interesting that they were like, we got to go someplace way different. We cannot stay on the island. We got to go someplace as different as possible to run our con. And all of those locations keep coming back up in the plot of the story because there's a con going on. But as the con is, you know, revealed and the final destruction is shown, it's just like, oh shit. When she finds the wax cylinders and you're like, oh shit. Okay, this is where we're going. It has that great gothic horror, like there's just ghosts kind of in the background, just kind of like taking up space but not being present in the story. I love the way people die is so gruesome and yet haunting. The end of Hiddles, as it were, when he shows up at the end as a ghost and you're like, oh shit, that's right, he did get stabbed in the face.
I do gotta say though, his ghost kind of reminded me of the ghost in Stardust. When he
yeah, I can
like,
see that.
He fits right alongside those brothers because it kind of looked had that same vibe to it.
Oh, definitely. Because like for anybody who doesn't know, in Stardust, all the brothers who die show up as ghosts in the form that they died in.
And it's fucking awesome.
Hilarious.
It's so great.
And so when he shows up, he has the most chill version of that, but he just has like a big cut and that's gushing out of his face, and his eye is like looking off in the wrong direction. You're like, this is grotesque. I don't care for this. The knife fight between Jessica Chastain and Mia Wasikowska is, again, terrifying because you're just like, I don't want to see this. This looks awful. Everybody get tetanus shots. This is so bad. But I really like the style and look of this movie. And the Del Toro of it all is what I would recommend highest of it, followed closely by Mia Wasikowska's performance. She's great in it. Every time she puts on her little glasses and starts reading, you're just like, oh, she's finding the mystery. The stuff with Charlie Hunnam is interesting. It's almost Shining-esque in that, like, he's like, I gotta go save her. And then he gets to the house. He's like, I'm gonna save her. And then he immediately gets walloped. And you're like, oh, great. Another body that we have to save. Okay. Cool. So helpful. Thank you. I'm glad you made it. Thank you for coming. Now we're all fucked. But that said, I really like this movie. It's not perfect. It is super tropey. The pacing on it does get a little languid in the second to third act in that connecting point when you get to the inevitable poisoning that takes place. Because, again, it's super tropey. But I really like this movie, and I do wish more people talked about it.
And I'm glad we watched it because I'm seeing it from the same perspective as you, but a different perspective.
Yeah, I've seen it several times.
I needed to really... I'm glad we didn't talk about the last couple weeks because I needed to marinate on this a little bit.
Yeah.
So I agree with you aesthetically. I give this movie set design, costumes, effects, A++. Gorgeous to look at.
Yeah.
The ghost designs are awesome.
Yeah.
The special effects are great. Crimson Peak looks amazing. I love how they use the clay and the red is like blood.
Yeah.
And, people traps it around on their feet.
The walls
and
are
stuff.
bleeding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. And even Buffalo and the way America looked and everything, great.
Yeah.
I love it. Costumes, great. I've seen so many movies that followed this storyline that it was too tropey for me. So I honestly gave the story like a C.
Yeah.
So that's why the movie for me is in like a B to B plus, just because the story was I was very let down by it. Like, I knew what was coming at the end. I'm like, I know what's coming.
Yeah.
And I know that Jessica Chastain is the leader of this family con.
She's the murderer. She's the one putting everything on. She's the one running everything.
Yeah.
She's the one that's sexually exploiting her brother on multiple levels.
Yeah. And where I did like the other two leads, I wasn't as big on Jessica Chastain. And I like Jessica Chastain. I wasn't as big on her character. I thought she played it a little too curly of the mustache.
Yeah, I can see that. Because she can't sit in the same room as Mia. I can't remember her character name. But she can't sit in the same room as her without having this repulsive response. And you're just like, okay.
And somebody like her who is intelligent and is in charge of this con where you're supposed to be conning a person, you would think she would play it more as a fake nice.
Edith.
Yeah. But you think she would play it as more of a fake nice than just, I am obviously the bad guy in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, from the time you meet her, you're like, oh, you're the fucking bad guy.
Yeah. The moment she starts poisoning stuff, she starts getting really nice.
Yeah.
So Edith will start eating things that she gives her. And it's just like, you definitely know she's the bad one.
And that was the kind of, which, unfortunately for me, it's in a couple Del Toro movies. Like, I will use Pacific Rim as one, where it's visually unbelievable, but then the story, you're like, okay, I think I've seen this in Godzilla movies many times.
I also wonder, because especially with Pacific Rim, and so thusly, by connection, this, I wonder what the studio input becomes. Because one of the things that I feel, especially about Pacific Rim, is that is a movie that is drenched in studio interference.
Yes.
I truly believe that Del Toro meant for Mako was supposed to be the lead character in that movie. And then Charlie Hunnam comes in as a teacher type, and then they fall in love and all these other things, but the story centers around Mako, which you can clearly tell once Mako is introduced to the plot, the story becomes about her and other characters around her. And I really feel like the studio came in and they were like, we can't have a Japanese woman as the lead in this blockbuster movie. She barely speaks English. No, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Get a white man in here. You can keep Mako as a secondary character, but get a white man in here, make him the lead.
Yeah.
I honestly think the scene with Mako and the crab chasing her was the beginning of that movie, and the scene with Yancey and Raleigh was later on.
I could see that.
And so you just flip-flop those two moments.
Yep.
But I totally believe that Mako is the main character, and then we meet Yancey at the wall when Pentecost comes to get him. Mm-hmm. And we're like, who is this guy? And then later on we find out about Yancey.
Yeah.
That movie would be incredible. I would love that movie. And I just wonder, with some decisions here, which would also lead to things like Jessica Chastain's extremely wooden performance.
Yeah. Well, and part of the disappointment for me is I wanted this to be a ghost movie, but when you make it about the con, it's about humans causing all of this.
Yeah.
Where I wanted it to have a supernatural villain that was the super, like that to me was what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised when I didn't get that in this movie, because that's what they really did kind of set it up.
Yeah.
Until the dad gets killed. You're like, okay, obviously one of the two of them killed the dad.
You hope that it's a ghost, but you know it's not.
No, I knew it wasn't. Yeah. So I assumed it was one of the two of them, and then the way he's acting towards Mia, I was like, it's got to be her.
Yeah.
But that was a little like, okay, Jessica Chastain killed the guy. Okay, I guess.
See, I like that scene a lot of her killing him, and then the scene where Edith has to go and identify the body. Yeah. I really like that scene. I think that's some of the best acting in the movie. The problem I had with it is they don't make out Jessica Chastain to be this physical presence in the movie. Like, I know there's the knife fight at the end, but it's like, her against Mia. Again, going into tropes, you have that kind of like two women in billowing robes, both with knives held high, ready to kill each other. It's like, oh, we've seen this before.
But then, to say that she killed the guy, where it's like, okay, I guess, but she's played as a
homebody almost.
A homebody of that period, which wouldn't be this like overpowering physical. It's not like Ripley from Alien that she could go in there and kick the shit out of the dude.
Yeah, she ran loaders.
But the Jessica Chastain, she's more intellectual, more I'm going to poison you. But the fact that she was able to overpower and smash this guy's head into a sink, that was a little...
I never really thought about that, but I think you have a point there of just like, she does not... We see him. He's a physical...
Yes.
He's an older man, but he is still physically fit.
Yes.
And I get it. She gets the jump on him and all these other things, but like...
It's such a physically violent death.
If she had just stabbed him in the back...
Exactly.
But she like bashes his head in.
Exactly.
And not like with a hammer. She bashes his head in with a sink.
And you would still need a lot of physical power forced down on the back of his neck to get his head to break that sink.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, so that's where at first I thought it was Hiddleston that did it, because that would make sense. But then when I saw it's her, I'm like, okay, and that kind of where everything really started unraveling for me. But once again, I do think people should see this because of the visual, the set
visual
design,
aspect
the costumes,
of it,
everything
is so good,
stunning.
It's so striking,
fucking stunning.
The basement full of vats of clay and ghosts, where the ghosts come out of the clay.
When the ghosts came out of the floor, fucking awesome.
It's so good.
So good.
The visuals of this movie are great. I agree with you. The story is definitely kind of lacking in a lot of ways, which, to be fair, is not the first time we've had that complaint about a Del Toro piece. There are a handful of Del Toro pieces where you can point to them and be like, the story here is a little thin.
Yes.
And so I think Pacific Rim is a perfect example of like, you go for the fun. It's robots versus monsters.
Exactly.
That's what you're going for. You're not going for this big, to do with humans and the ability for humans to overcome crises and all these other things. You get those moments, but you also get, today we're canceling the apocalypse, which, like, depending on who you talk to, is a great line or outrageously silly.
Yeah.
So, it is interesting. I'm looking at the cast list. Our boy Doug Jones played Lady Sharp in some of the scenes.
Oh, really?
Which is really funny.
Oh, that's awesome. But, like, and the thing that disappointed me the most with this is this, you could see the bones in this movie for Shape of Water.
Yeah.
So this was like, and when he does these less flashy video game like movies, being Hellboy and Pacific Rim, so you're talking your Shape of Water, your Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
The story really complements the effects where this wasn't that for me.
Yeah.
And that, I think, because I was going into it expecting like a Pan Labyrinth set story like
which
that.
Like this has some of the same DNA of that, definitely.
It does,
but it does. I agree with you. It does not deliver on some of the premises and justifications that the story gives you. So I like this movie a lot. I would agree with you. I think it's like an A-. I think it has problems, but like
it's still worth seeing. I definitely would recommend.
Totally
it.
Worth seeing.
Yep.
It's really fun to watch. It's a very engaging movie. I don't find it boring at all. I can see how some people might find it boring, but I think
those people don't like watching period movies.
I think the acting is just really good.
Yeah,
the acting really holds together a lot of things, with the exception of Jessica Chastain.
And I do want to say to people, Hiddleston's acting's great.
Yeah,
it's just he looks like Loki.
Yeah,
that's what threw me off. Is when I see it, it's like, okay, when you're that iconic to a character, you have to alter his hair.
Yeah.
a little bit, just so he doesn't look just like that.
They
character.
accentuated his cheekbones to make him look like he had been starving, Steve. Don't you know? Loki's all well-fed. He has the cheekbones of a god.
It just made him look prettier.
I know.
He's a pretty man.
Even as a ghost, he's like, that's a good-looking man.
He's a pretty man, yeah.
Do you want to move on to something on the
need to
opposite side?
Okay, so
This is.
I am so glad that I got you to watch this movie.
I just love that we're going from it's a period piece, you look at it for the gothic aesthetic and all the beauty of it, to, okay, now you remember how we were talking about Pacific Rim? We're going to go there.
So let me preface this by saying this is the main event for Halloween Havoc for this week. Hold on one second. I need to prep something. Okay, so I had seen this movie before that we're going to be talking about. So 2013 movie called The Knights of Badassdom.
Oh boy, I can't believe this is a 2013 movie.
I saw this movie probably 7-8 years ago, maybe a little longer. It was during the heart of Game of Thrones, and I was big into Peter Dinklage. I want to say I had already seen Station Agent, but I had seen it again, and I love. If you've never seen The Station Agent,
I need to see. I haven't seen it since I was like,
fucking see it.
I think I saw it when I was 19.
Spectacular movie.
Since,
like it's the reason why Peter Dinklage should be a star. Great movie. But he is a part of this movie called The Knights of Badassdom.
Boy, is he.
And it is a stoner LARP comedy horror
With like the most bonkers cast.
The cast is insane.
Like, this is a cast of like, if Scott Pilgrim, it's in that same vein as Scott Pilgrim, where almost everybody turned into someone, but none of them are like A class. Like, you don't have like a Chris Evans and a Brie Larson and Kieran Culkin. You don't have all of that. But you do have a late stage Steve Zahn.
Yep.
You have Peter Dink.
Yep.
You have Summer Glau.
Summer Glau.
You have Danny Pudi. You have my boy Jimmy Simpson.
Gunther's played by Tom Hopper, who's in the Umbrella
Academy.
Yep.
So it's like, it's a bunch of people that you will recognize.
Danny Pudi from
Community, among other things. When Danny Pudi showed up, I was like, of course you're here, because why wouldn't you be here? What's his name? Brian Posehn.
Yes.
Has like one scene in the entire thing.
Let me paint a picture for you folks. So this movie is about this guy who breaks up with his girlfriend, and it's the whole classic thing where he's depressed and he goes to his friend's house.
Well, his friend who is casually a millionaire.
Yes, Steve Zahn.
I think they refer to him as an accidental millionaire. Like, he won a lawsuit and now he just has more money than he knows what to do with.
Yes.
And so all of his friends live in his big house and they all go LARPing.
Which is a castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so him and Dinklage are the big LARPers.
Yeah.
They're huge into LARPing. Their friend whose girlfriend just broke with him, he is not into LARPing. He's into heavy metal.
He was in their D&D group in high school.
Yes.
And so when they went from D&D to LARPing, he went from D&D to metal.
And that's Joe is the character's name. He's played by Ryan Quanten.
He's not somebody you'll recognize from anything.
So they talk him into going to this big LARP event.
As a get over your girlfriend.
Exactly.
We're going to go out, we're going to party, we're going to drink, we're going to do all this
crazy
stuff. And
they do a lot of drugs before they go.
Yes, they do.
And they kind of trick him, and he wakes up in the back of the van, and they're at this LARPing event.
Yeah.
And
in armor.
And he wasn't going to do it until, for those of you who don't know, Summer Glau is quite beautiful. And this was back in the Serenity days, like in her heyday. And so she walks by and he's like, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. But Steve Zahn stealing a chapter from
from the Evil Dead and
from why am my brain right now? One of my favorite movies ever. The Monster Squad.
Oh yes, the Monster
Squad. He finds this book, and since he's a mage, he's like,
bought
it's
it
a
on
book
eBay.
Of spells. I bought it on eBay, but it actually conjures a demon that takes over the appearance of Joe's ex-girlfriend, and it's fucking insane.
This movie went from 0 to 60 and then started like jerking the wheel all over the road. And you're like, what's happening? I'm in the back seat. I'm just holding on for dear life. Like, oh my God, what is this?
It is so violent, too. This is the
thing. Going off of our theme this year, which is dead bodies, God help me. When you get halfway through this movie and the bodies start piling up, I was like, okay, I expected some of this. I did not expect this level of this.
Yeah.
And especially that, like, the first big body, there's like 3 people that die almost off screen.
Yes.
And then the first big body, including a guy from the West Wing who's friends with Aaron Sorkin.
Yep.
Who's there as a joke because in the story, he's an actor who's too big to be here.
Yep.
And so he's like, what's my line? What's this role? What's my motivation? And everybody's like, you're just a monster. Who fucking cares? And then he fucking bites it.
Yep.
After he gets his bit. You know, he's dead. And you're like, okay, I didn't expect him to stick around too long. And then you have, you know, the funny thing with the fairies where you have all these fairies talking and they have to go at a game. What are we actually doing here? We're having this argument about our relationship, and then they all die. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, it's Jason, but Jason is a succubus.
Yes.
Okay, cool, whatever.
And it is just the female version until Steve Zahn tries to send her back and fucks it up and actually turns her into
a giant monster.
A giant fucking monster.
But before he does that, she kills Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, she kills Dink.
Really very quickly, like almost offhandedly.
Yes.
And you're just like, man, I knew the Dink was expensive, but like, he got killed off so fast. He'll come back.
He comes back in
a
fucking awesome way.
But like, when he died, I was like, are you, what?
Yes.
He's dead? Are you kidding? And the entire time he's like, I'm still tripping on shrooms. None of this is real. And then he fucking dies.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And then Danny Pudi dies. And you're like, hang on. This is like the actual reason I'm watching this movie is some of these people. Yeah. And they're just dead now? Okay. Where is this going? And the place that it's going is a lot of soft conversations with Summer Glau in the middle of the woods, talking about why she's into LARPing.
Because her brother is
her cousin is never out of game.
That's right, her cousin.
Her cousin is never out of game, Gunther, and as such, needs someone to take care of him.
Yes.
And so she's the only one that can kind of deal with LARPing out of her family. And so she has taken on the responsibility of keeping Gunther from getting too into the game, which is unnecessary because the further into the game Gunther gets at this point, the better for everybody.
Oh, he's fucking awesome. Yeah.
And so you get a lot of that, and then you just get people dying.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get, like, you start wondering, the biggest thing that I took away from this, the breaking of Burger's Law, if you will, that I had with this, was I kept thinking to myself, who made the decisions about the budget of this movie?
Yep.
There are so many questions I have about the budget of this movie. Because on one hand, super cheap budget, we're just going to rent a field.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, no problem. You go to wherever they have medieval times, like 2 weeks before medieval times set up, and you just rent the field. And then you bring in a bunch of extra LARPers. And then most of your actors they have range in terms of like their appeal, but like most of them aren't big names yet. I do love Jimmy Simpson. Yes. I love whenever he shows up, from Always Sunny to Black Mirror to this to Westworld. Whenever he shows up, I'm like, I fucking love Jimmy Simpson.
He's awesome.
I don't know what it is. I just love him.
So he's the one running this
He's the
LARPing.
Game master.
He's the game master.
He's the one going around the fields at the beginning of the game, charting how everything is, and then screaming about how bad the maps are.
But he knows his shit, because he's the one that realizes the Book of Spells is legit.
Well, my favorite moment of the entire movie is when he is trying to run over a monster, or the monster.
Yeah.
And it's revealed that he doesn't know how to drive, but he does know how to speak ancient Anunnaki.
Yes,
and it's awesome. Like, okay, all right, that's a bit I can get behind. I can get behind this bit.
But I believe that for like a super geek like him, I can totally get it.
So, and he did a great job in terms of like, I guess it depends on who you're talking to. I would not show this to someone who's into LARPing and expect them to enjoy it. I think that this made more fun of LARPers than it did celebrate them.
It's tough. To me, this is in the same vein as like Role Models, where yes, they do make fun of LARPers, but then they also kind of show how fucking cool it is in a lot of ways.
There are elements of it. I'm thinking like, so you have this dichotomy, right?
Yes.
Everybody has foam weapons, but Steve Zahn sells real weapons out of the back of his van, which becomes pertinent later on when they need real weapons.
Yes.
But like, it's moments like when Danny Pudi and the Dink meet up with an antagonizing party, and they start throwing spells at each other, and the game master is just kind of stepping in as Puck and being like, whoa, and this happens, whoa, and this happens. You know, you get 50 points back. And like, he's overdoing it.
Yes.
And you're kind of like, I don't know if this is making fun of LARPers or if this is genuinely trying to be like LARPers. It might be both. It could 100% be we're just being you, but because of how you are, it seems like we're making fun of you, but we're genuinely just acting the way you act. All of this is to say, you get to the end of this movie, and you have this big puppet running around killing people, which was crazy. I really thought they were going to stop the puppet from killing people. No. Everybody dies.
So it's like this big courtyard
where
all the LARPers show up. And it reminded me of Freddy versus Jason when they're having the party in the cornfield. And Jason walks into the middle and just starts fucking killing everybody.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is.
And like you have like, I really like some of these LARPers. I like the two factions where you have the guy in the wheelchair and the guy making speeches.
Dude,
I really like that. I did not expect the guy in the wheelchair to be one of the first ones to bite it. Yes. I didn't think that was going to happen, but he bit it hard. But like the reason I call into question some of the budgetary things is like, okay, so you have this cast. That's where some of your money goes. And you have this really good puppet. Not for nothing. You did buy a really good puppet. Some of the after effects, especially in late stage of the movie, are so bad. They're like, when you said it was a 2013 movie, I was like, I had it at 2005. Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
Now, but for what Al is saying, folks, understand this. This is as classic a B horror movie as you're going to get. It just had some big names in it.
Yeah.
But it is...
without this is doubt, a B movie.
A B midnight horror movie.
Oh, definitely. Yes. Like people call Cabin in the Woods a B movie. I would say Cabin in the Woods is not even close to a B movie if this is a B movie.
Cabin in the Woods is an A movie being made to look like a B movie.
Yeah.
This is a B movie being made to look like a B movie minus...
I was about to say, this might be a B movie being made to look like a C movie. Yeah. So the reason I'm giving it so much shit is because at the end of the movie, there is a genuinely kind of cool moment where they have to do the Enochian thing. They have to sing the spell out of the book. I really like that you have to sing all the spells. I think that's really funny.
Yeah.
They have to sing this spell, and then the book gets destroyed, and they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? And they realize, like, oh, it doesn't matter what you're singing. It just matters what the impetus of the song is. And so What's His Nuts gets on the car and starts pumping out his metal album that he has, and it summons the Dink back to life.
It's fucking awesome.
In a moment that could be great is, in my opinion, undone by the circa 2006 graphics that are used to bring the Dink back. They're so bad. Yes. They're like the green screen in the room bad. It's not good.
Yes.
It's very bad. I don't know why they did it this way.
The way I looked at it is they hit that point where they used all their budget.
There must have been no money left.
There was no money left.
There was no money left. We just gotta
fucking finish this movie.
And like, so it was one of those things where like the producer hat in me was like, okay, we don't have the money to do this. We can still have the moment. Let's try and make this look good on set so that we don't have to kind of CGI in the Dink coming back. We can kind of have it be more naturally lit to the thing. And then if we want to, we can make his eyes red in CGI in post. But like all of the everything about it, I was just like, ooh, that's not good. That's very bad. That's one of those things where Steve Zahn saw and he was like, the heyday of my career. It's not good. It was 7 years ago. And that's not a shot at, it is, but I love Steve Zahn. I only take shots at him because he's not in anything anymore, which I guess good for you if you don't have to work anymore and you don't have to work anymore. But anyway, all this is to say it's a good movie, but I do feel like the ending kind of pulled the rug out from under me a little bit because I'd already been struggling with elements of the movie. And then that happened. And I was just like, I want to follow you so badly, but I'm over here laughing so hard.
See, this falls in my... So you have your basic movie scale, which we do our AA+. Like Crimson Peak. I have my bad movie scale. This is an A in my bad movie scale because when I saw the title, this is exactly what I expected.
See, that's another
from
thing.
The title of this movie.
If you tanked me up to watch this, like I tank up for like Grandma's Boy or something like that, I think it'd be a lot funnier.
And I think that's what they made it for.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the whole beginning of the movie is about them just being on drugs. Like, Dinklage is eating shrooms constantly throughout the fucking movie. And it's like, that's where I think they're looking at this. It's like, no, dude, you gotta be fucked up to really enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've been fucked up when I've enjoyed this movie. And
I kind of want to return to it in a truly fucked up state.
Yeah.
And because like I don't want to dislike it, but it just like I will admit part of the problem is the title. I think the title is really bad. It's a really bad title, guys. I think you could come up with so many better things than this. LARP Camp would be better than this. Camp LARP Away. You know, like I don't know, man. This is the Knights of Badassdom. I don't know.
The reason I love the title though is the look on people's faces when I tell them you got to see this shitty movie called The Knights, and they look at me like I just made that up.
It's got Peter Dinklage in it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
But yeah, no, to me, it fills that gap of, okay, when I want to watch a movie that I just want to watch something that is a horror movie, but it's not anything that takes itself too serious, has people in it I like, and I can overlook the other shit.
Yeah.
This is the one I go to.
Oh, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see watching this with a certain group of people and having a really good
fucking time.
It reminds me of Jeremy Johns and his scale.
Yes.
Of like, it's better when you're boozed up.
Yep.
You know, and it's, you know, I think it fits squarely into that tile of like, you could watch it and I guess kind of enjoy it. But like, if you get loaded and then watch it with a group of people that are really into it, I think that's the way you watch
this movie for me is what Half-Baked was. Because Half-Baked I've watched without being under the influence of anything. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was okay. When I've watched it fucked up, I have laughed to where I thought I couldn't breathe anymore. Yeah. And this is in that vein.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I think this is... But it's kind of moved into that grandma's boy area for me where I can watch it sober now, and I still have that same reaction because my body and my mind remembers that reaction. Yeah. And... God damn, it's fucking...
See, my favorite thing about Grandma's Boy, I'm just going to go a little tangent-y.
I love tangents.
My favorite thing about Grandma's Boy is how many references I knew that I didn't know were from Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
When he beats the high score, I literally said, oh, what does new high score mean? And then Nick Swartzen's like, what does new high score mean? I'm like, oh, that's what this is from?
Yep.
Oh, shit!
Did I break it? I still, to this day, my nephew, who's 16 now, my brother, he's the one my brother won't let him swear or anything, but he'll do like sleepover at my older brother's house and they'll watch like R-rated movies. Mm-hmm. I said, dude, I cannot. When he sees Grandma Boy, he might have like shit himself.
Yeah.
That's how much I know he'll love this movie.
Yeah.
But Knights of Badassdom, going back to it, as a Halloween horror Havok, it is a demon movie.
I think it kind of snuck up on me in that way because I really wasn't expecting this to be as bloody and gory as it was. Yeah. And again, granted, it has the budget of a small garage, but it delivers in a lot of ways that you wouldn't expect it to. And they really use that budget effectively. And they don't, there's sex in the movie, but it's not gratuitously sexual in its nature. It has that classic, old Hollywood, I broke up with a girl and now I see a girl and I'm going to go date her instead, even though I'm supposed to be tragically lost over the breakup that I just went through. I'm going to go and try and make out with this other girl. Yep. And it's like, classic storyline. And so I do like it. I think it really snuck up on me in terms of like being an actual Halloween movie. Because when you suggested it, I was like, all right, I guess we'll see how this goes.
Well, and the funny part is I didn't really think about it, and I went on to Amazon Prime, which it's on, and it popped it up because I had watched it not long ago, and I'm like, oh, we were talking about demons for Halloween. I'm like, it's a fucking demon movie, and it's got a lot of people we like in it. I think you would need to see it.
Speaking of people that we like, I found out something really interesting.
What?
Chris Stuckman, who we like,
yes,
has a new movie coming out, Shelby Oaks. We talked about the trailer a little while ago. The reason that movie is being made is because of Mike Flanagan.
Really?
Mike Flanagan saw Stuckman's review of, I can't remember, one of Flanagan's pieces, and reached out to him. Oculus. He saw his review of Oculus, and Mike Flanagan reached out to Stuckman and was like, I like what you're saying. I like what you're thinking. Start working on stuff. And so when he came back with Shelby Oaks, Mike Flanagan was like, how can I help you make this?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
So there you go. There you go. The tree keeps growing, man.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, folks, that was episode 176 of NerdPod Generations. Really hope you enjoy it. Next week, we will be ending our Halloween Havoc. I know when we record, it'll be technically a couple days after Halloween.
I don't care.
But we got to put a cap around it.
I'm telling you, the spooky season is going all through November this year. I'm making it happen. I'm plowing roads, baby. Let's do
spooky
it.
Season. But NerdPod Generations 176 is in the books. Please go to nerdpodgen.com and look us up and give us a like and subscribe on both YouTube and whatever your podcast choice is. I know mine's Apple Podcasts. A lot of people are doing Spotify and whatever.
Spotify's in a little bit of hot water at the moment.
So. They're in hot water right now. So Apple's always in hot water.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, Al, who does our artwork and our music?
I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. Apple just fixed their squeaky wheel. They got rid of the plus in Apple TV Plus. That was the problem, right? So also, while we're getting distracted, I still have the cast list for Crimson Peak up, and the guy who played Edith Cushing's father is named Jim Beaver. Our art is by Kortney Howell. Our theme is by Brendan Williams and James Connolly. I am Alfred Judson.
And I'm Steve Taylor.
And until next week, friends and enemies, the euphemisms will keep coming. Yes! We just won't be here to give them.
No.
Have a great week, friends and enemies.
Adios.